Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the CRAZYDRE Podcast Show, where you can find sports, news, poetry, and everything else you can talk about. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today I'm going to talk about a little bit about uh, Detroit sports. I'm going to talk about the Pistons and the Orlando Magic playoffs, first game of the series. Lots of things to talk about, a lot of concerns maybe. Got to talk about the Detroit Lions. Maybe draft pick a little bit, stuff that's going on that's coming up this Thursday. And we're going to talk about the concerns maybe about Detroit Tigers uh, play. I know they have a good record. They'd be 500 by the end of today's game. They're losing big time to Milwaukee Brewers, 8-1 at this point. But let's start out with the Detroit Pistons game. As you guys most likely saw, Detroit Pistons were upset in game one of the series. Orlando Magic and the Detroit Pistons. Orlando 112, Detroit 101. It was not expected to be this big of a deal, but what else can I say, folks? Detroit looked really flat. Orlando looked very motivated. They looked right on cue. They looked like they were there to play the game, to play the playoff. I think that Detroit thought this was going to be a little shakedown of like, no, this team's good because they played against Charlotte for the first game of that series, that one game series, which I still don't understand why the NBA does that. Uh, Charlotte's just not that good. It's kind of like a warm up game for Magic. That's to me, that's what it was. I would say that uh, if we take a look of what the stats say about the Detroit Pistons game and Orlando Magic, as you guys can tell, there was 49% for Orlando shooting, 40% for Detroit. The three-point shooting was 29% for Orlando, and Detroit was 31%. That was very deceptive. The free throws, Orlando took less free throws, but Detroit made more free throws and had more free throw opportunities to make it 76 Detroit, 74 for Orlando. The rebounds was 49 to Orlando to 39 for Detroit. Detroit, they needed more offensive rebounds. They only had six. They had 33 rebounds in defense. Orlando was attacking the boards with themselves with 11 rebounds in the offensive end. Even Orlando had more assists than Detroit, at 26-19 for Detroit. Steals, Orlando beat them out from 11-9. Blocks was the same time. There were Detroit, unfortunately, had more turnovers to 14 to 12. Points in paint. This is something that was very misleading for Detroit. I think Detroit should have attacked the inside part of the game. I think I'll get into that about Jalen Duran. I think he was the lost man in that game itself. Uh, but yeah, 54 to Orlando, 34 for Detroit Pistons by 20 points in the paint. That was not good. Points uh, points off turnovers was 18-17. Detroit was down by one of that. Fast break points, we had the fast break points for 25-23. So did Detroit have an opportunity to run with the ball off rebounds? Yes. But I think that you have to look at uh, um, Orlando Magic's stats. You had Apollo Machado with 23 points, 8 of 15 field goals. France Wagner was 18 points with 7 of 13 field goals. France Wagner was more physical in the paint than any of the Detroit Pistons were. Isaiah Stewart, I do think that even Jalen Duran was not substantially uh, physical enough in that game either. Wendell Carter Jr., 17 points, 8 for 9 for field goals. I mean, they were just playing a lot better. Desmond Bain, 17 points for 7 for 20, and Jalen Suggs for 16 points. So all the starting players for Orlando had double digits points. Tobias Harris was 17 points for Detroit, 5 of 15 of field goals, 1 for 7 for 3-pointers. Duncan Robinson only had 9 points, 3 for 6. And those 3 of his 6 field goals were the 3-pointers. He shot 3 field goals out of 8 attempts for the whole game. A lot of people like to tell me that I'm giving Duncan Robinson a lot of crap of his 3 points percentage. Yes, I know, I get it. He was shooting 50% of the 3-pointers in this game, but he only took 6. He made 3, but missing 2 field goals inside the 3-point line, that works against you too. Jalen Duran is the lost cause for Detroit in this game. I think the paint, inside the paint, the presence of the game. I know that a lot of people would say that Cade Cunningham is the face and the foundation of that team, but Jalen Duran will give you that stability that you need to make that everything run really, really well together as a mesh. So when you start in the center position with the Detroit, Jalen Duran can distribute the ball to all kinds of players like Duncan Robinson to make his shot easier. Tobias Harris as well to make his shot easier. Tobias Harris, yes, I said he's 17 points, but I think that there were a lot of tough shots that he made that would have been easier if Jalen Duran got the points inside and they can spread the love a little bit. Cade Cunningham had 39 points and 13 for 27 field goals, 3 for 8 for 3-pointers, 10 for 11 for free throws. So he got to the line. He only had about 5 assists. Asur Thompson had 8 points, 3 for 7 field goals, and 7 rebounds. But I think that the problem that we have with Asur Thompson and Dennis Jenkins is that Asur Thompson isn't really a natural shooting guard, nor he is actually a player that's an offensive player that at his end of the court. He's going to be more of a defensive offensive player. So when he comes off rebounds or tip shots or tip rebounds that come to him or go to Duncan or go to Jalen Duran, the ball can be distributed in fast breaks back to Asur Thompson. And I think that's the biggest strong point for Thompson is that his defensive offensive play becomes more relevant when he's not becoming the shooting guard or have to take the ball up the court and become a thinker. He's more of just a doer. So that's something to consider. Dennis Jenkins had 6 points, 1 for 7 for field goals and 1 for 2 for 3-pointers. As much as we love Dennis Jenkins, I think a lot of times you have to consider the fact that he's just not going to be that guy every single game to give you 20 points off the bench, or even if he's started. Kevin Huerter for Detroit off that trade from Jaden Ivey. That was just one of those things that we cleaned the cake off to get Jalen Ivey off our payroll. But Kevin Huerter, you got to give yourself a chance to score. Sometimes when I see you play on the court, you almost feel like you're not feeling part of the team. And I get it, but you have to be more assertive. I really do think so. Isaiah Stewart, I couldn't really put my finger on him about Isaiah Stewart, but I feel like one of the things about Stewart is that maybe he's a little afraid of getting a technical foul or being super duper aggressive and doesn't want to get in foul problems and issues. And maybe there were a lot of cheap shots or fouls against him, but I really think that he needs to be more aggressive as well. I think that you just can't worry about what the referees are going to do to your minutes if you're thinking that they're going to call fouls on you. I just think that you just have to ignore the other players aggressively trying to bug the crap out of you. That's something I think that's going to be very, very important for Game 2. Game 2, it's a 5-game series, I think. And I don't know. So Detroit needs to win this game, and I really think that even if Detroit wins this series, I don't know if they can actually beat the or Oklahoma Thunder. And I think that'd be an easier series to actually play against New York Knicks. But the Knicks, they're no jokes either. But Detroit needs to win this game. They need to win off the boards. They need to get Jalen Duran involved right away. They need to get Tobias Harris easy shots, Duncan Robinson easy shots. They need Cade Cunningham to be a distributor of the ball, to pass the ball and then score. And I wouldn't say that Cade Cunningham should wait till the 7th, 8th minute to start scoring. If the shots are there for you, take those shots. But I really think that if you need to start in the center as much as possible. Paulo Baccato, I think that you need to put a body on him. And, it's easier said than done, but I think a lot of his shots were easy shots because Detroit didn't get a lot of their offensive rebounds, and Baccato got his easy shots that way. For instance, Wagner, you got to put a body on him, be more aggressive. And I think that Detroit has a lot of big guys, Reed, and you got Isaiah Stewart and Duncan Robinson. So if you put a big body on him and make him work, you got to work those rebounds, you're going to win the board game. That's how you're going to end up winning the series in itself. But I think Detroit needs to be more aggressive, more on fire, more willing to actually do something about it. I just don't think it's a good idea just to let the game ride and say well, we're at home, we can come back, we can make a run in the last 8 minutes of the game. If we're down by 10 or 15 points, and we can win that series, that concept isn't going to work in this game. You cannot wait for 5 minutes in the fourth quarter to make a comeback by 9 or 10 or 12 points. This is the playoffs. Everything's different. You got to be more aggressive. But I'm going to move on from that, folks. I think what I'm going to do is actually talk about my Detroit Tigers. Detroit Tigers, I think we have a concerning point about Detroit's defense. I think that they're really half-chalant. They're being killed right now by Milwaukee Brewers. And Jake Rogers is pitching because they don't want to use none of the bullpen pitchers. I get it, but I think that De Jesus was out there, didn't really do much for Detroit, gave up a couple runs, didn't strike out anybody. Unfortunately, there were a couple of errors in that time when De Jesus was on the field pitching. He was the time when he got put out of this game against Milwaukee, it was because a ball was hitting softly towards Torkelson, and it was supposed to be an easy play for Torkelson to throw to second base or to throw it to first base to De Jesus, and Jesus didn't even get to the first base at all. I also want to say something about Jack Flaherty's attitude, that 6-8 loss game against Boston a couple of days ago. I think this is a concerning thing about to me about Jack Flaherty, is that regardless if he walks a couple of guys or lets a lead runner on with a walk or hit, and there's two guys on the bases, he's cussing and he's swearing, and he does not know how to manage his emotional feelings on the mound. And I think other teams can see it, and they will run with it and make his life a living crap out of it. And I just think that if Detroit's going to win a series, Detroit's going to win a World Series, Jack Flaherty needs to have a bad attitude, needs to just calm down and just relax a little bit and just chill out. It's baseball. You're going to make bad decisions and bad things happen. But if you keep this bad attitude, I don't know what to tell you. We already have Justin Verlander on the IR or IL, and we don't know when he's coming back. But I just think that, unfortunately for Detroit, with Reese Olsen out, I think Detroit needs to put up Troy Mountain up into the majors and just teach him how to pitch. And you know what? I think that Detroit's defense might haunt them if they make it into the playoffs, especially within the pitcher catcher situation. Not so much that Dingler or Jake Rogers will mess up, but I think that the pitchers will do the same thing that happened in 2006 or 12. I think that was 12 when we got killed by the San Francisco Giants in that World Series. Uh, but yeah, that's something that's really concerned about that in itself. One more other thing I want to talk about before I let you guys go. Detroit Lions, there's draft picks coming up. Detroit has 9 draft picks coming up. I think their first draft pick is the 17th pick of them all. Detroit's going to have to go with the defense and the offensive line guys. I will keep you guys posted to that. And I think that's very important for our defense to be improving. I think that Hutchinson is going to need as much help as possible. I think we lost a couple guys through free agency. There was some speculation of Alex Elizondo leaving the team and talking garbage. And, I'm telling you, I feel like the position that he was playing outside linebacker, he thought that he should have got paid more or been more appreciative to covering the tight ends or the receivers or the running backs coming out in the backfield. And I just think that if you have that attitude and you're going to be like that, go on and just do your thing. Don't want to hear about it. I hope that Aiden Hutchinson kind of breaks ties with him and you know what? That's not my team. You're not my team. You're not my player. You're not my guy. You got to go. You got to capiche. You got to leave out of here. So I think that's one thing about Detroit Lions. And there's also a little word about Brett Holmes and Dan Campbell kind of going back and forth of how to pursue this year's football team. And remember, if you don't take care of Jared Goff, the team's not going to go far. You can get the running backs. You can get Isaiah Pacheco, and Gibbs in the backfield. That's going to be great. But I don't see either of those guys being able to really help Jared Goff in the backfield with blocking. So I think Detroit's going to have to get a couple more offense line guys to come off the bench, and they need at least another defensive end guy to help Hutchinson out. And I think that linebackers, we can always take more linebackers as much as we can get them, just because linebackers seem to get hurt really fast. It's a lot of treacherous work of covering the run game, the defense of the passing game. The cornerback and safeties is always one of those things that Detroit's going to have to keep either trade for a great cornerback or keep drafting the cornerbacks. It's kind of, I'm not really convinced. I know I've said in the past that Detroit had to draft a cornerback, and within the first 2 rounds a couple of years ago when we got Terran Arnold, but that story is still not even clear either yet. If Terran Arnold is going to be clean off his case, there's too much story about him setting up a situation to get his stuff back, and he was the one that orchestrated this to get his stuff back. But to be honest with you, if you're going to wear that much gold and silver around your neck, you might as well put it in the bank and leave it there and put it into an investment and make it grow that way with a 401k or Roth or bonds or whatever. So I'll keep up and post about this. I will try to just keep things going with Detroit Tigers games in itself. It's kind of difficult to do every single game of Detroit Tigers especially if I'm working full time. And I'll keep them posted about other teams, other situations. I know that Mark Verbal of the New England Patriots had a serious talk with his coaching staff and everything else with it, and his players and everything. I just think that it's kind of hogwash for a coach to talk about his personal life. He got what he wanted, little action, and regardless how you look at it, just the way it's just the way it is. There's my podcast about that situation as well. If you guys enjoy this podcast, follow me, give me a thumbs up, and find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Patreon. I'm out of here. Peace, love, and let's go Detroit.